Going back to the wide receiver position, Jose Moore. Jose is a 6'2", 205-pound wide receiver. When you think about the young men, we introduced Justin Burdett. He's 6'2". We think about the size that we want again at wide receiver. Jose fits that bill. Coming out of South Haven, Mississippi, South Haven High School, drew interest here in the last week from Marshall University out of Conference USA. Was an all-North selection there at South Haven, an all-Metro selection, which includes Shelby County and Memphis. He originally started his high school career at Whitehaven High School in Memphis and then moved across the border to South Haven High School. He was an all-district selection, again, a team captain, made the honor roll this past season, 46 receptions, 634 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Again, what we like about Jose, gives us a big body, could play outside or in the slot, catches the football, attacks it with his hands, and a very good route runner. He can catch the ball in traffic, and they're not on here, but we've also seen clips of him being a physical blocker on the perimeter, and that's very, very important that our wide receivers block as well, right? All right. Like guys that big hands, strong to the football. I think he has a bright future here. Next young man from the greater Memphis area is Michael Moore, a 6'2", 265-pound defensive tackle from Memphis, Tennessee, Ridgeway High School. Held offers from Southeast Missouri State, Murray State, a couple of schools out of the Southwest Athletic Conference, and Morgan State. Michael was a two-way player at Ridgeway, both on offense and defensive line, was an all-district selection at both, and was actually the offensive defensive lineman of the year, offensive and defensive lineman of the year at Ridgeway High School. Once again, another team captain. He's on the honor roll at Ridgeway. He played in the 2012 AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star game, which was played back in December. And as a defensive player over the last 2 years, 78 tackles, 9 sacks, and 10.5 tackles for loss. If he can't play defense, I promise you we can flip him over and he can play offense. But he's very athletic, very explosive. And again, you can see him right here running down the field. He's going to make plays. I think some of these offensive clips here. See him right there with a pancake block. Some video they shadow box. Other times you have to kind of find them. Big Michael Moore got a big-time future here in our program. Staying in the greater Memphis area, George Odom, a 6'2", 185-pound defensive back. We project George as a safety here at the university from Millington, Tennessee, Millington Central High School. A tremendous athlete. We came in and offered George, and on Monday night, Western Illinois offered him and decided to remain committed and sign with the University of Central Arkansas. A 2-time 6A All-Region selection as a defensive back and a punt returner. Sectional qualifier in track and field and triple jump. I think he finished 7th in the state of Tennessee as a junior in the triple jump. Once again, a team captain, honor roll student. He was selected to play in the Tennessee versus Kentucky National Guard All-Star game and has already participated in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star game. He's a big hitter. He's probably going to weigh about 215, 20 pounds. When he gets out of track and field, starts eating right and lifting right and training in our program. As you can see here is a returning this one right here. Young man can run, very athletic, and when you finish in the top 10 in any state in the jumps, then you're a pretty explosive player. Early in his career, he did play wide receiver, so he has very good ball skills. Once again, a very good tackler. You know, we talk about tackling on defense. You know, we want to hit people high if we can. Great tacklers play with balance and tackle high and wrap up. And you see that out of George. Next young man, again with a theme here in the Memphis area. We consider Greater Memphis in-state territory for us. Terrance Party, a 6'3", 270-pound defensive tackle from Southwind High School, held an early offer from the University of Memphis this summer. Also offered by Tennessee State, Middle Tennessee, Tennessee Martin, and several schools out of the Southwest Athletic Conference. We first looked at this young man. We said, "Bah, it's probably a long shot to get him." Once we got him and his family on campus, he completely shut down his recruiting. His family wanted him to get away from the Memphis area, and we're certainly very excited that he's pledged to be here. An all-district offensive and defensive lineman as well the last couple of years. He made the All-Shelby County team as a defensive tackle. He, too, played in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl All-Star game. This past season, 63 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and also blocked a kick this year. Another honor roll student, and he is currently in wrestling, and he is in the sectional finals in wrestling, I think, next weekend, with an opportunity. I think he's seated third, an opportunity to go to the Tennessee State Championships as a heavyweight wrestler. You like guys that wrestle because they have to use their hands. And every position has to be able to use your hands. And for his position on the defensive line is to be able to get 2 feet in the ground, to lock out and engage, and be able to control the blocker with their hands. And wrestlers generally have to use their hands. We really went hard for interior defensive linemen. We talked about Michael Moore. We just talked about Terrance Party. Now we're going to talk about Jordan Tolliver from over at Duncanville High School in Texas. Allen, Texas, we talked about Cade Camp. Allen is the largest high school in the state of Texas with over 6,000 students in the high school. Duncanville is the second largest high school in the state of Texas. So this young man has played at a high level and high quality of football. 6'1", 285 pounds, held offers and visited Stephen F. Austin. Also held offers from Lamar and Abilene Christian. A 2-time all-district selection. This young man made the 12-5A all-academic team this year. Another team captain. He was the Scholar Athlete of the Year at Duncanville. And over the last 2 years, Jordan had 93 tackles, 21 quarterback pressures, 5 sacks, and 11 tackles for loss. Once again, an explosive, very active interior defensive lineman that's played an extremely high level of football. I think his Twitter handle is Steelhammer, so that tells you what he thinks of himself. So, I think that, you know, as we start doing quality control and looking at how do we improve as a football team, you know, if we start getting just a tad more production out of the interior defensive line and continue to build on the good things we're doing there, then that's going to make our first down, second down, and third down opportunities on defense even better. We graduated 2 seniors this year, Larry Duvall, there's his block kick, and Justin Williams. And so these 3 young men, to go with what we have on campus now, have an opportunity to come in and impact our football team. As we get down to the bottom here, these last several, some phenomenal athletes in this group, starting with Fernando Van Hook out of Senatobia, Mississippi, Magnolia Heights High School. Fernando's 5'10", 183 pounds. Most of his highlights here you're going to see as a running back. He certainly could play running back in college. We project him as a defensive back. Again, possibly a safety, maybe a corner. Held offers from Appalachian State and the University of New Mexico. and had interest throughout the season from the University of Kentucky, and actually tripped Kentucky prior to that coaching staff change. He was an all-state selection, Mississippi All-Star game. You can see in 2012 as a running back, over 2,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, defensively 96 tackles, 3 interceptions, and he did return 1 kickoff for 96 yards and a touchdown. He dominated at a smaller level, but he also dominated as a junior at the Memphis University School in Memphis, Tennessee, prior to transferring to Magnolia Heights. An honor roll student, you can see by Arkansas, that's not right, but anyway, a 3-star rated athlete and a 2-star by Rivals. The thing about Fernando, once again, plays with great balance, great hands. He's a basketball player, and he's averaging over 20 points a game in basketball. Kelton Warren, another running back, 5'10", 185-pounder from Arlington, Texas, Juan Seguin High School. Former quarterback Chris Reel is the offensive coordinator there at Seguin High School. Kind of put us on Kelton. This young man will remind you of Brent Grimes, except with another gear. Offered by Northern Colorado, University of Incarnate Word. Trip to university, signed with the Bears today. A 15-4A All-District selection. He was the offensive MVP at Juan Seguin. This season, he had 209 rushes for nearly 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, and that was the second most in school history at Seguin High School. He also had 19 receptions for 277 yards. Last year in 2011 as a junior, he was a 15-4A district champion and the state qualifier in the 100 meters at 10.5. 10.5 100 meters in the state of Texas. Once again, an honor roll student. And as we mentioned earlier, with the graduation of 3 seniors at running back, we talked about Anderson, we talked about Darian Daniels, and now Kelton Warren have a chance to come in and fill that void and that vacuum along with what we have on campus now. Kelton has excellent hands, balance, speed. He can run inside and outside. You can see him here on the wheel route. And he did this last year and did not play in the first 2 games. So he probably would have broke the school record at Seguin had he played in the first 2 games. Very explosive, very athletic. Again, built very similar to Brent Grimes. Probably a good step and a half faster. Like his hands, like his vision. Again, explosive player. He's got an opportunity to come in and really help our football team next season. We had 6 a.m. workouts this morning, so we were doing some encouraging, so a little hoarse. Next young man is Tyrell Wellmaker, a 5'11", 205-pound defensive back out of Lake Charles High School, Lake Charles LaGrange. He is a pure safety and a big-time player. Held offers, trip to McNeese State, Northwestern State, Southeast Louisiana, Grambling, Alabama State, and had interest from the Louisiana Lafayette. He was the Louisiana 4A All-State selection by both the coaches and the media, 2012 4A Defensive MVP, a 3-time All-District selection, 2-time All-Southwest Louisiana selection. Just this year alone, 97 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 12 interceptions, and he scored 5 defensive touchdowns and forced 8 fumbles. Very explosive young man, a big play guy on defense, potentially a big play guy on our special teams. Interesting story about Tyrell. His father lives in St. Louis. Mother lives in Lake Charles. This is the halfway point, and worked out pretty good for the Bears. I can tell you some of our local competition went through great lengths to try to get him to change his pledge to somebody not in our conference. But the family is convinced that this is the best place for their son, and I look for Tyrell to have an outstanding career here at the university. 12 interceptions his senior year and scored 5 defensive touchdowns. That's impressive. Tyrell Wellmaker. And the last young man, there's 2 left here. Jatavius Wilson. Jay Wilson out of Bastrop, Louisiana, Bastrop High School, a school that's been very good to the University of Central Arkansas. Since I've been here, we had Jeremy Ford, who was a 4-year starter on 2 conference championship teams, 2005 and 2008. Rodarius Winston played at Bastrop High School, be a senior this year, be a 3-year starter for us. And Earl Downs, reserve offensive lineman, all came from Bastrop High School. Jatavius held offers from McNeese State in northern Colorado. For you people that have been in this state a lot longer than I was very fortunate to see Basile Shabazz highlight film at Pine Bluff. This is the second best highlight video I've ever seen that I've watched in 30 years of coaching. An explosive guy at 5'9", 170 pounds. Remind you a lot of Jesse Grandy, maybe just a tad shorter. 4A All-State selection by the coaches in the media. 3-time All-Northeast selection. 3-time All-District. 2-time All-District selection in basketball. He's averaging 20 points a game in basketball. Look at his numbers for this year. 79 receptions, 1,343 yards, 21 touchdowns. He also ran it a little bit and scored a touchdown, but for his careers, they're eye-popping. Over 3,000 yards on 207 receptions at Bastrop High School. And if you don't know, that's really good football right there in North Louisiana. And he scored 47 receiving touchdowns. The guy knows what to do with the football when he catches it. He's one of those guys you could just watch his highlight film over and over and over. It's just so impressive. We have one other young man we want to note here. A big part of our program over the years, we think about Seth Allison, an All-American, Lane Freewall, others, as our non-scholarship program. We have one to announce today. Jeremy Arnold, a 6'4", 290-pound offensive lineman out of Holy Cross High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. Jeremy's admitted, and he'll join our football program as a non-scholarship player in the fall. We will have others to announce as well in the coming days and weeks, those young men that will join in that capacity. All right, with that being said, that's the class. We've got some immediate help here. We've got some guys that can help us next year, and certainly we feel like the needs of our football team have been addressed as for the future as well. I'll entertain any questions. Yes, sir.
How many years do we have the 3 J-boys on the front for?
Burnett for 3 years, Harrison for 2, and Kirsch for 2.
It seems over the course of the last few years, the size of the school and the success of the high school that you're recruiting on have increased significantly. Is that just the progression of your program?
All right. Yeah, I think you're right on that point, no question. I think what leads to that, though, is the success. I mean, the success on the football field, the visibility that Division I football gives us throughout the Mid-South and quite frankly, across the country. The success that we've had academically within our football program. Young people know they can come to the university and have that experience. It's pretty impressive when you click the film on and you're watching our university play Ole Miss or Tulsa or Hawaii, or next year play in front of 85,000 people at the University of Colorado or at Oklahoma State or at Texas Tech. Those are impressive places to compete in and play. Young people know that they can have that experience. With that said, because of that exposure and that profile, the quality of the athlete that we're exposing ourselves to is a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. And we're certainly making some inroads into state championship programs, large programs, and again, getting into some battles with some people. well documented. Can't talk about it much, but you know, we had a young man committed that flipped from the University of Central Arkansas to the University of Arkansas. When was the last time that happened? Never, maybe. So, I mean, I'd like to think that our profile is increasing and the quality of that athlete in that profile is increasing. And I think it has a lot to do with the teaching that's going on in Estes Stadium and the quality of the young men that we're bringing into our program. And, hey, look, our guys, I mean, we were at 6 this morning. We were working this morning on National Signing Day at 6 a.m. And there's an expectation of how we want to play and how we want to recruit and the type of program we want to have, and we feel we're really, really close to getting there.
I didn't count up quickly, but obviously there's a trend of team captains and honor rolls, as you mentioned. Is that something you look at first, or is that just something that evolves through the process that you get so?
Well, certainly there's some great football players that we passed on because they didn't fit our academic profile. So that is really one of the most important aspects of our profile. But certainly we want people, as we tease with Monty, you know, read, write, and arithmetic. And but we also need guys that can run and jump and catch and throw. And so with that said, you know, I think that as we put a profile together each and every year, you know, it's about academics, it's about athleticism, it's about explosive movement, it's about winners, and it's about young men that can be leaders. And guys that are team captains and honor roll students are going to have the character, you know, and to meet the profile that we have for our program. Pretty good. Anybody else? All right, just a couple last things here, and then certainly our coaching staff and myself and any of these young men will be available for comment here. Some important dates and reminders. This has come up today already. Spring practice starts March the 8th. So we're inside right at a month. We just roll from, we've got our 2014 recruiting meeting next week. You just keep going, you know. But spring practice begins March the 8th. Our spring game is scheduled for Saturday, April 13th at 7 o'clock. We will have 2 major scrimmages on March the 30th and April the 6th. Those are Saturdays at 3 p.m. March the 30th and April 6th at 3 p.m. And the spring game is April 13th at 7 p.m. And just for the media here, we have 16 returning starters, 44 lettermen, and Paul Cantrell's favorite number, we have 14 redshirt scholarship players and probably another dozen non-scholarship players that will be entering our program competing for work starting on March the 8th. It's a great day for the university. It's a great day for these young people and their families at our school and across the country. We're excited to welcome them. As I told all of them today or last night, this is the end of a process but a beginning of their journey, and they're going to get out of it what they put into it. I appreciate, again, Larry, you weren't here when I thanked you and Farm Bureau for what you do to sponsor this event, and our coaches and everybody that's played a part, not just in the recruiting process, but today. Great day for the university. Thank you.